Mike. Good. This is a fictional short story based on an event that happened in Georgia in 1968. Squad 1, forward. The drill sergeant paused while 12 recruits dropped into their foxholes and propped their rifles on sandbags, peering over their gun sights at cardboard human silhouettes 100 yards in the distance. An old man sat on a stack of ammo boxes in the shade of a pine tree, watching, remembering. The young men were eager for life to begin, to bring forth, to show its promise. They wanted to see, to experience. In youth, there was nothing to remember, for nothing had happened yet. Ready on the left, ready on the right, ready on the firing line. The sergeant barked as a shadow passed over the men. He paused and looked skyward. The men did the same. A lone hawk circled, searching for a movement that would define his target. The dark brown form was clear against the azure sky, individual feathers flaring at the wingtips. It cared not what was happening below. Commence fire! Young men followed orders, brass casings ejecting onto the berms and into the holes, hot metal hissing. The sweet but acrid smell of gun smoke was satisfying. As the smoke cleared, each was temporarily deafened and felt a ringing sound in his right ear. Cease fire! Cease fire! When the sergeant was sure that firing had ceased, he commanded, Squad 1, forward. Mark your patterns. Young men scrambled from their pits to check their targets. The sergeant turned to the old man. Clear the grass. Slowly he moved about his business. The hot Georgia sun did not encourage exertion, and the cartridges needed a moment to cool before his bony black fingers could pluck them from the red clay dust. He glanced skyward and smiled. Hurry up, damn you, get on with it, the sergeant growled. Squad 2, forward. 12 more men haphazardly took their positions, distracted by the hawk as it dipped lower, now circling directly overhead. The old man moved into the shade and sat back on his haunches. He had been here before, in this space, this void. It had been long ago, another war, a distant time. With his forefinger, he wiped the sweat from his brow. The sergeant sensed a loss of control. He stepped down from the dirt mound that parted the dugouts to his left and to his right. Soldier, let me see that weapon. Before the young man in the first foxhole could react, the sergeant had seized the weapon from the kid's hands and returned to his elevated perch at the center of his small universe. The men knew their sergeant had been in war. The tales of this marksman were now legend and myth. When the time came, could they take aim and take a life? The hawk did not strike its target. The timing was not right. He caught an updraft and pulled away for a moment, then focused again. He hovered directly over the sergeant's head. The men raised up in their foxholes and watched as the sergeant took aim. The silence was broken, first by hushed voices, then by cheers. Get him! Waste him! A single shot rang out. The hawk continued to circle. Another shot rang out. Silence returned to the men, and the bird continued its quest as if nothing had happened. The men looked at the sergeant, clearly perplexed. He growled as a sardonic twist pulled at the corner of his mouth. He let out his breath, held steady, aimed just ahead of the flight path, and gently squeezed off another round. As if in slow motion, the bird rolled to the right, turning a slim profile. A single feather floated toward the ground. The old man stood up, shielded his eyes against the sun. The bird continued to circle. The sergeant slipped the weapon from single shot to automatic. He let out a burst, a tap, tap, tap of shots, grouped tightly, followed by another controlled burst. The aspiring marksman stared in disbelief as clinking brass hit the ground and the hawk glided away into the afternoon sun.